वेलकम टू वी लर्न में आपका स्वागत है। सब्जेक्ट इंटरनेशनल बिजनेस फाइनेंस, सेशन नंबर 9। टॉपिक कवर्ड इन दिस सेशन: सम बैकग्राउंड ऑफ इंटरनेशनल बिजनेस, टाइप्स ऑफ एक्सचेंज रेट रिस्क एक्सपोजर, मैनेजमेंट ऑफ एक्सचेंज रेट रिस्क एक्सपोजर, स्ट्रक्चरिंग इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड ट्रांजेक्शंस. Some backgrounds like what is company's motivation to invest capital abroad, fill product gaps in foreign markets where excess returns can be earned, to produce product in foreign markets more efficiently than domestically, because foreign market is very expert and smart market and also having a very good quality and technological product. So to secure the necessary raw materials required for product production. Now, international capital budgeting. How does a firm make an international capital budgeting decision? There are some points to be followed. Number 1, estimate expected cash flows in the foreign currency. Number 2, compute their use either in dollar or rupees or whatever the currency equivalents at the expected exchange rate. Then step 3, determine the NPV, that means net present value of the project using the US required rate of return or any other country required rate of return, with the rate adjusted upward or downward for any risk premium effect associated with the foreign investment. International capital budgeting only consider those cash flows that can be repatriated or returned to the home country parent. The exchange rate is the number of units of one currency that may be purchased with one unit of another currency. For example, the current exchange rate might be 2.50 Freedonian marks per ounce US dollar. International capital budgeting. International project details. A firm is considering an investment in Freedonia and the initial cash outlay is 1.5 million marks. The project has 4 years project life with cash flows given on the next slides. The appropriate required return for repatriate US dollar is 18%. The appropriate expected exchange rates are given on the next slide. Like this one, end of the year 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Expected cash flows in marks. In 0 years, 15 lakhs, first year 5 lakhs inflow, second year inflow 8 lakhs, third year 7 lakh and fourth year 6 lakh. Exchange rate marks to US dollar 2.50, 2.54, second year 2.59, third year 2.65, fourth year 2.75. Expected cash flow 6 lakh for 0 years. First year $1,96,850 or marks. $3,08,880, $2,64,151, and fourth year $2,20,588. So present value of cash flow at the rate of 18%. Initial investment $6 lakh. First year present value 1,66,822. Second year 2,21,833. Third year 1,60,770 and fourth year 1,13,777. So the total will be 6,63,202 and net present value 63,202. Related issues of concern: international diversification and risk reduction, US government taxation, taxable income derived from non-domestic operations through a branch or division is taxed under US code. Foreign subsidiaries are taxed under foreign tax codes until dividends are received by the US parents from the foreign subsidiaries. Now, foreign taxation. Tax codes and policies differ from country to country, but all countries impose income taxes on foreign companies. The US government provides a tax credit to companies to avoid the double taxation problems. A credit is provided up to the amount of the foreign tax, but not to exceed the same proportions of taxable earning from the foreign country. Excess tax credit can be carried forward. Then political risk. Expropriations is the ultimate political risk. Developing countries may provide financial incentives to enhance foreign investment. Bottom line, forecasting political instability. Protect the firm by hiring local nationals, acting responsibility in the eyes of the host government, entering joint ventures, making the subsidiaries reliant on the parent companies, and or purchasing political risk insurance. Import exchange rate terms. Spot exchange rate. The rate today for exchanging one currency for another for immediate delivery is known as a spot. Then forward exchange rate. The rate today for exchanging one currency for another at a specific future date. Currency risk. Currency risk can be thought of as the volatility of the exchange rate of one currency for another, say British pound per US dollar. Types of exchange rate risk exposure. Translation exposure. Number 1. Translation exposure relates to the change in accounting income and balance sheet statements caused by changes in exchange rates. And second is transaction exposure. It is related to the setting a particular transaction at one exchange rate when the obligation was originally recorded at another. Third one, economic exposure. It involves changes in expected future cash flows and hence economic value caused by a change in exchange rates. Management of exchange rate risk exposure. Point 1. Natural hedges, cash management, adjusting of intra-company accounts, international financing hedges and currency market hedge. These are the tools of risk management. सबसे पहला नेचुरल हेजेस. हम कोशिश ये करते हैं एक्सचेंज रेट को कि किसी तरह से हेज किया जाए, रिस्क को मिनिमाइज किया जाए. उसके बाद कैश मैनेजमेंट करते हैं कि हाउ टू मैनेज द कैश टू गेटिंग द ऑप्टिमम पोजीशन ऑफ टोटल कैश. एडजस्टमेंट ऑफ इंट्रा कंपनीज अकाउंट्स, दैट मीन्स द अकाउंट्स इज एडजस्टेड from parental company as well as host country and other subsidiaries. Then international financial hedges are also used to minimize the risk. And currency market hedges like counterparty risk, interest rate risk, currency swap, etc. So natural hedges are global determined and domestically determined. Scenario 1, pricing and cost. Scenario 2, pricing and cost and domestically determined. Both scenarios are natural hedges as any gain or loss from exchange rate fluctuations in pricing is reduced by an offsetting loss or gain in cost in similar global market. Scenario number 3, pricing globally determined and cost domestically determined. Scenario 4, pricing domestically determined and cost globally determined. So both of these scenarios are not natural hedges and thus create a possible firm exposure to event that impact one market and not the other market. Cash management. What should a firm do if it knew that a local foreign currency was going to fall in value, that is drop from $0.70 per peso to $0.60 per peso? So exchange cash for real assets or inventories whose value is their use rather than tied to a currency. Reduce or avoid the amount of trade credit that will be extended as the dollar value that the firm will receive is reduced, and reduce any cash that does arrive as quickly as possible. Obtain trade credit or borrow in the local currency so that the money is rapid with fewer dollars. Generally, one cannot predict the future exchange rates, and the best policy would be to balance monetary assets against monetary liabilities to neutralize the effect of exchange rate fluctuations. A reinvoicing center is a company-owned financial subsidiaries that purchases exported goods from company affiliates and results reinvoices them to other affiliates or independent customers. Netting. A system in which cross-border purchases among participating subsidiaries of the same company are netted so that each participant pays or receives only the net amount of its intra-company purchases and sales. Generally, the reinvesting or reinvoicing center is built in the selling unit's home currency and bills the purchasing unit in that unit's home currency. Allow better management of intra-company transactions. Now, international financing hedges. Number 1, commercial bank loan and trade bills. Foreign commercial bank perform essentially the same financing functions as domestic bank, except जो इंटरनेशनल या फॉरेन बैंक होते हैं, कॉमर्शियल बैंक होते हैं, उनके फंक्शंस भी सेम होते हैं जैसे कि आपके डोमेस्टिक बैंक के होते हैं, कुछ को छोड़ करके, और वो कुछ कौन से हैं? दे अलाउ लॉन्गर टर्म लोन. नंबर 2, loans are generally made on a overdraft basis. Number 3, nearly all major commercial cities have US bank branches or offices available for the customers for the purpose of foreign trade. So the use of discounting trade bills is widely utilized in Europe versus minimal uses in the United States. Euro-dollar financing. Euro-dollar are bank deposits denominated in a US dollar but not subject to US banking regulations. This market is unregulated, therefore the differential between the rate paid on deposits and that charged on loans varies according to the risk of the borrower and current supply and demand forces. Rates are typically quoted in terms of LIBOR, that means London Interbank Offer Rate. It is a major source of short-term financing for the working capital requirements of the multinational companies. And now, international bond financing. A Eurobond is a bond issued internationally outside of the country in whose currencies the bond is denominated. The Eurobond is issued in a single currency but is placed in multiple countries. A foreign bond is issued by a foreign government or corporation in a local market. For example, Yankee bonds and samurai bonds. Many international debt issues are floating rate notes that carry a variable interest rate. Number 4, currency options and multiple currency bond. Currency option bonds provides the holder with the options to choose the currency in which payment is received. For example, a bond might allow you to choose between yen and US dollars. Currency cocktail bonds provide a degree of exchange rate stability by having principal and interest payments being a weighted average of a basket of currencies. Dual currency bonds have their purchase price and coupon payments denominated in one currency, while a different currency is used to make principal payment. Currencies and the euros. Euro, the name given to the single European currency symbol, is much like the dollar. Each country has a representative currencies like the dollar in the United States or pound in Britain. On January 1st, 1999, the euro started trading. The euro is the common currency of the European Monetary Union called EMU, which currently included the following 12 European Union countries. Number 1, Austria. Number 2, Belgium. Number 3, Finland. Next is France. Number 5, Germany. Number 6, Greece. Number 7, Ireland. Number 8, Italy. Number 9, Luxembourg. Number 10, Netherlands. Number 11, Portugal. And number 12, Spain. All these are the Union of European Monetary Bank. Forward exchange market. A forward current contract is a contract for the delivery of a commodity, foreign currency or financial instrument at a price specified now, with delivery and settlement at a specified future. Spot rate 1.168 per dollar. After 19 days, forward rate 0.166 per dollar. As shown, the Elvonian France EFR is said to be sale at a forward discount as the forward price is less than the spot rate. If the forward rate is $1.71, the EFR is said to be sale at the forward premium. Philips Electronics has just sold equipment worth 1 million Elvonian francs with credit terms of net 90. How can the firm has the currency risk? The firm has the options of selling 1 million Elvonian francs forward 90 days. The firm will receive $1,66,000 in 19 days. 1 million Elvonian francs multiply $1.166. Therefore, if the actual spot price in 90 days is less than 0.166, the firm benefited from entering into this transaction. If the rate is greater than 0.166, the firm would have benefited from not entering into the transactions. So how much does this insurance cost? Annualized cost of protection equal to $0.002 divided by $0.168 multiply 365 days divided by 90 days, which is equal to 0.011905 multiply 4.0556 which is equal to 0.0483 or 4.83%. Typical discount or premium ranges for stable currencies are from 0 to 8%, but may be as high as 20% for unstable currencies. Number 2, currency futures. A future contract is a contract for the delivery of a commodity, foreign currency, financial instrument at a specified price on a stipulated future date. A currency futures market exists for the major currencies of the world. Futures contracts are traded on organized exchanges. The clearing house of the exchange interposes itself between the buyers and the seller. Therefore, transactions are not made directly between two parties. Very few contracts involves actual delivery at expiration. Currency future. Sellers or buyer cancel a contract by selling another contract. This is an offsetting positions that closes out the original contract with the clearing house. Futures contracts are marked to market daily. This is different than forward contracts that are settled only at maturity. Next point, contracts are come in only standard size contract, that is 12.5 million yen per contract. And now currency option. A currency option is a contract that gives the holders the right to buy but not obligation, or sell put a specific amount of a foreign currency at some specified price until a certain or expiration date. Currency option has only adverse currency movement, one side risk. For example, a put option can has only downside movements in the currency exchange rate. Options exist in both the spot and futures market. The value depends on exchange rate volatility. And now currency swap. In a currency swap, two parties exchange debt obligations denominated in different currencies. Each party agrees to pay the other's interest obligation. At maturity principles, amount are exchanged usually at a rate of exchange agreed to in advance. The exchange is nominal or notional, only the cash flow difference is paid. Swaps are typically arranged through a financial intermediaries such as a commercial bank. A variety of complex arrangements are available. Macro factors governing exchange rate behavior. Number 1, purchasing power parity. The idea that a basket of goods should sell for the same price in two countries after exchange rates are taken into account. For example, if the price of wheat in Canadian and US market should trade at the same price after adjusting for the exchange rate, if the price of wheat is lower in Canada, then purchasers will buy wheat in Canada as long as the price is cheaper after accounting for transportation cost. Thus, demand will fall in the US and increase in Canada to bring prices back into equilibrium. The price elasticity of exports and imports influences the relationship between a country's exchange rate and its purchasing power parity. Commodity items and products in mature industries are more likely to conform to PPP or purchasing power parity. Number 2, friction such as government intervention and trade barriers cause purchasing power parity not to hold. Interest rate parity. It suggests that if interest rates are higher in one country than they are in another, the former's currency will sell at a discount in the forward market. Remember that the Fisher effect implies that the nominal rate of interest equals the real rate of interest plus the expected rate of inflation. The international Fisher effect suggests that differences in the interest rate between two countries serve as a proxy for differences in expected inflation. Interest rate parity, the international Fisher effect suggests F upon S equal to 1 plus R foreign up divided by 1 plus R dollar, where F equal to current forward exchange rate in foreign currency per dollar, S equal to current spot exchange rate in foreign currency per dollar, and R foreign equal to foreign interbank euro market interest rate and R dollar equal to US interbank euro market interest rate. Interest rate parity example, the current German 90 days interest rate is 4% and the current US 90 days interest rate is 2%. The current spot rate is 0.706 Freedonian marks per US dollar, 1.416 per mark dollar. What is the implied 90 days forward rate? The implied 90 days forward rate is F divided by 0.706 equal to 1 plus 0.04 divided by 1 plus 0.02. So F equal to 1.04 multiply 0.706 divided by 1.02, which is equal to 0.720. Thus the implied 90 days forward rate is 0.720 marks per dollar. Structuring international trade transaction. In international trade, sellers often have difficulty obtaining through and accurate credit information on potential buyers. Channels for legal settlement in cases of default are more complicated and costly to pursue. Key documents are: number 1, an order to pay international trade draft, and number 2, a bill of lading, and number 3, a letter of credit. The international trade draft or bill of exchange is a written statement by the exporter ordering the importer to pay a specific amount of money at a specified time. They can be classified into different categories. Number 1, side draft. Side draft is payable on presentation to the party or drawee to whom the draft is addressed. Number 2, time draft. Time draft is payable at a specified future date after sight to the party or drawee to whom the draft is addressed. Features of time draft: an unconditional order in writing signed by the drawer or the exporter. Number 2, it specifies an exact amount of money that the drawee, the importer, must pay. Number 3, it specifies the future date when this amount must be paid. And number next, upon presentation to the drawee, it is accepted. Number next, the acceptance can be by either the drawee or a bank. Number next, if the drawee accepts the draft, it is acknowledged in the writing on the back of the draft the obligation to pay the amount so many specified date hence. Number next, it is then known as a trade draft or banker's acceptance if a bank accepts the draft. And now bill of lading. Bill of lading are shipping documents indicating the details of the shipment and delivery of the goods and their ownership. It serves as a receipt from the transportation company to the exporter showing that specified goods have been received. Number 2, it serves as a contract between the transportation companies and the exporters to ship goods and deliver them to a specific party at a specific destination. It serves as a documents of title also. And now letter of credit. Letter of credit is a promise from a third party, usually a bank, for payment in the event then certain conditions are met. It is frequently used to guarantee payment of an obligation. A letter of credit is issued by a bank on behalf of the importers. The bank agrees to honor a draft drawn on the importer provided the bill of lading and other details are in order. The bank is essentially substituting its credit for that of the importers. And now counter trade. Counter trade, generic term for barter and other forms of trade that involve the international sale of the goods or services that are paid for in whole or in part by the transfer of goods or services from foreign country. Used effectively when exchange restrictions exist or other difficulties prevent payment in hard currencies. Quality standardization of goods and resale of goods that are delivered are risks that arise with counter trade. Forfeiting. Forfeiting, the selling without recourse of medium to long-term export receivables to a financial institution. The forfeiter, a third party, usually a bank or a government unit, guarantees the financing of such amount. The forfeiter assumes the credit risk and collect the amount owed from the importer. Most useful when the importer is in a less developed currency or country or in a Eastern Europe nation. And now do it yourself. Explain why many firms invest in foreign operations. Question number 2. Explain why foreign investment is different from domestic investment. Number 3. Describe how capital budgeting in an international environment is similar or dissimilar to that in a domestic environment. Question number next. Understand the types of exchange rate exposure and how to manage exchange rate exposure. Number next, compute domestic equivalents of foreign currencies given the spot or forward exchange rate. Number next, understand and illustrate the purchasing power parity and interest rate parity. Describe the specific instrument and documents used in structuring international trade transaction. And that's it from session number 9. Thank you.